One of the interesting stories that I have read recent times was a story written by Ms.Sudha Murthy in the book called Here, There and Everywhere. It was the year 1943. Her father was a young medical doctor posted in a small dispensary in a village known as Chandagarh, located on the border of the two states of Maharashtra and Karnataka. It rained continuously for 8 months there, and the only activity during remaining 4 months was tree cutting. It was a lesser known and a thinly populated village surrounded by a thick and enormous forest. Since British officers came to hunt in the jungle, a small clinic was set up there for their convenience. None of the villagers went there because they preferred using the local medicines and plants. So there was nobody in the clinic except my father. Within a week of his transfer there, my father started getting bored. He was uprooted from the lively city of Pune. So this low and silent village there seemed to be no people at all. He had to contact with the outside world. His only companion was the calendar on the wall. Sometimes he would go for a walk outside, but when he heard the roar of the tigers in the jungle nearby, he would get scared and walk back to the clinic as fast he could. It was no wonder then that he was too afraid to step out at night because of the snakes that were often seen slithering on the ground. One winter morning, he heard heavy breathing outside his main door and bravely decided to peep through the window. He saw a tigress stretching and yawning in the veranda with her cubs by her side. Paralyzed with fear, my father did not open the door the entire day. On another day, he opened the window only to find snakes hanging from the roof in front of his house, almost like ropes. My father wondered if he was transferred to the village as a form of punishment for something he may have done. But there was nothing that he could do to change the situation. One night, he finished an early dinner and began reading a book by the light of the kerosene lamp. It was raining heavily outside. Suddenly, he heard a knock on the door. Who could it be? He wondered. He opened it. He saw four men wrapped in woolen rugs with sticks in their hands. They said to him in Marathi, Dr. Sahib, take your bag and come with us immediately. My father barely understood their rustic Marathi. He protested, but the clinic is closed. And look at the time. The men were in no mood to listen. They pushed him and loudly demanded that he accompany them. Quietly, my father picked up his bag and followed them like a lamb to the bullock cart, waiting for them. The pouring rain and the moonless night disoriented him, and while he didn't know where they were taking him, he sensed that the drive might take some time. Usually, all the courage he had left, he asked, where are you taking me? There was no reply. It was a few hours before they reached their destination and the bullock cart came to a complete halt. By the light of the kerosene lamp, somebody escorted them. My father noticed the paddy fields around him, and in the middle of it all, he saw a house. A minute he set foot in the house, a female voice, come, come. The patient is here in the room. For the first time since he had come to village, my father felt that he could finally put his medical expertise to good use. The patient was a young girl, approximately 16 years old. An old lady was standing near the girl, who was obviously in labor. My father turned pale. He went back to the other room and told her family, look, I haven't been trained in delivering a baby, and I'm a male doctor. You must call someone else. But the family refused to listen. That's not an option. You must do what needs to be done, and we will pay you handsomely. They insisted. The baby may be delivered alive or dead, but the girl must be saved. My father pleaded with them, please, I am not interested in the money. Let me go now. The men came close, shoved him inside the patient rooms, and locked the door from outside. My father became afraid. He knew he had no choice. He had observed and assisted in few deliveries under the guidance of his medical college professors, but nothing more. Nervously, he started recalling his limited past experience and theoretical knowledge as his medical instincts kicked in. There was no table in the room, so he signaled the old lady, who appeared to be a deaf and dumb, to help him set up a makeshift table with the snacks of paddy grains around them. Then my father extracted a rubber sheet from his bag and laid it out neatly on the top of the snacks. He asked the girl to lie down on it and instructed the old lady to boil water and sterilize his instruments. By then, the contraction has passed. The girl was sweating profusely, and the doctor even more. She looked at him with a big, innocent, teary eyes and slowly began, "Don't save me. I don't want to make it through the night. Who are you?" I am the daughter of the big zamindar here, she said in a soft voice. The rain outside made it hard for him to hear. Since there was no high school in our village, my parents let me study in a distant town. There, I fell in love with one of my classmates. At first, I didn't know that I was pregnant, but once I found out, I told the baby's father, who immediately ran away. By the time my parents learned of what had happened, it was too late to do anything. That's why they sent me here to the God's forsaken place where nobody would find out. She stopped as a strong contraction hit her. After a few minutes, she said, "Doctor, I am sure that once the baby is born, my family will kill the child and beat me violently." Then she grabbed my father's arms and more tears gathered in her eyes. "Please don't try to save baby or me. Just leave me alone here and let me die. That's all I want." At first, my father didn't know how to respond. Then he said to her as gently as he could, "I am a doctor and I can't let a patient die when I know that I can do something to save him or her. You mustn't encourage, you mustn't discourage me from doing my duty." The girl fell silent. The labor was hard, scary, and long, and finally, my father managed to deliver the baby successfully with the assistance of the old lady. The young girl was exhausted, and sweetly at the end of the ordeal, she closed her eyes in despair and didn't even ask to see the baby. Hesitantly, she asked, "Is it a boy or a girl?" "It was a girl." "It's a girl," replied my father, while trying to check the baby's vitals. "On my God, oh my God, it was a girl," she cried. "Her life will be just like mine, under the cruel pressure of the men in the family. And she doesn't even have a father." She began sobbing loudly, but my father was busy with the baby and barely heard her. Suddenly, the girl realized that something was wrong. "Doctor, why isn't the baby crying?" When she didn't get a reply, she continued, "I'll be happy if she doesn't survive. She will be spared from the cursed life." My father held the baby upside down, gently slapped her, and instantly the baby's strong cries filled the room. When the men outside heard the baby cry, they opened the door and instructed him, "Doctor, get ready to leave. We will drop you back." My father cleaned up his patient, gathered his instruments, and packed his pack. The old lady began cleaning the room. He looked at the troubled young girl and said, "Take the baby and run away from this place if you can find it in your heart to do so. Go to Pune and look for Pune Nursing School. Find a clerk there called Gokale and tell him that RH has sent you. He will help you get admission in a nursing course. In time, you will become a nurse and lead an independent life with the ability to take care of your own needs. Raise your daughter with pride. Don't you dare leave her behind, or else she will end up suffering like you. That's my most sincere advice for you. But doctor, how will I go to Pune? I don't even know where it is. Go to the nearest city of Belgaum, and then from there you can take a bus to Pune." My father said goodbye to her and came out of the room. The old man handed him 100 rupees. "Doctor, this is your fee for helping the girl with the delivery. I warn you, don't say a word about what happened here today. If you do, I will learn. I'll learn of it, and your head will no longer be attached to the rest of your body. My father nodded, suddenly overtaken by a sense of calm. I'm sorry, he said. I think I've forgotten my scissors in the room. I will need it tomorrow at the clinic. He turned around and went back inside and saw the young girl gazing on the sleep at the sleeping newborn, with tears in her eyes. When the old lady back was turned toward him, my father handed over the money to the girl. This is all I have with me right now, he said. Use it and do what I have told you. Doctor, what's your name? She asked. My name is Dr. R.H. Kulkarni. Everyone calls me RH. Be brave, child. Goodbye and good luck.